why is Destiny Church so interested in what has gone on here?
Well, we were one of the initial first complainants back in 11th of October in 2023. We lodged with the Electoral Commission and also with the police. We were one of the first onto this, of course, about the going-ons that were happening at the Manakau Marae and what was happening with Pāti Māori. What was basically was around what you just talked about there now about treating at the polling booths on the marae, and number two, about campaigning over the polling booths, and number three, we also brought up the census data that they were...
They seem to be using it to create a political database. And of course you were interested at that time, Brian, because Vision New Zealand, the party headed by Hannah, your wife, was contesting those seats, right? So you were in the game.
Exactly. Well, they put a complaint in as well. Vision New Zealand and Freedom New Zealand. 11th of October 2023, 4:02 p.m. We put it to the Electoral Commission then. We gave them evidence as well. Two times video, and that is evidence and a screen.
And those are the videos you've been putting out that have since been deleted by the Maori Party, right, or by the Marae?
That's right. They've taken them down and a screenshot to support.
And those things are saying, come on down, get on the roll, we'll give you an ice cream, basically.
Well, basically they were using more than ice cream. They were doing all sorts of coercive tricks and activities, all the things that you're not supposed to be doing as far as Electoral Commission is concerned. They weren't further than 10 metres away from
And
the
what
box.
happened to your complaints, Brian, back in October?
Well, look, just putting it very quickly, we sent it off to the Electoral Commission. After a couple of days, they came back and basically said, no, we don't see any reason to be doing an investigation. So we got a hold of the Chief Commissioner, Mr. Carl Quincy, and we said to him, listen, we've given you evidence that there is treating going on and there's campaigning at the polling booths, plus there's data they were using to coerce Māori to vote and a whole lot of other things that were questionable. Now, he got back to us in the end and said there'll be no investigation. We're satisfied that there's not enough evidence. We had all the evidence in the world right there. We also sent this off to the police on the 12th of October, and we asked the police to lay charges because there's been a violation with the Electoral Commission as well. Very undemocratic manner that they run this, and also to Pāti Māori.
So your efforts back in October, Brian, were completely rebuffed by the authorities.
Well, absolutely. In fact, the Chief Electoral Officer was caught out lying. In the end, he was asked, he put it in the mainstream media had picked up on this and asked him, is there any investigation going? He said, no, there isn't. Then
and the police wouldn't either. I find this fascinating because, I mean, did you leak the story to Andrea Vance, did you?
Well, look, I don't know about that. But what I can say is the police, they did nothing. Now, the Chief Electoral Officer could have really done something here to change the course of this, but he actually lied when the media asked him, and also Lance Norman, who I believe needs to be investigated as well.
Who's he?
The Pāti Māori Treasurer and Party Secretary. He's in bed with the Chief Commissioner, Electoral Commissioner, where they talked about and said, are we under investigation? We see that Brian Tamaki has submitted this, and he said no, because he asked, Mr. Norman asked, has there been any official complaints? And our friend, the Chief Commissioner, lied. And that lie was in the
And now, of course, though, now it's got to the stage where we have this big powwow between these 12 government agencies and the Public Service Commissioner. So I'm just trying to figure out, Brian, why you were ignored and suddenly there's a major investigation months later.
Well, a lot of that goes on toward my way, but this is probably going to be the biggest political scandal in New Zealand's history, Sean, and it also may wind up being the biggest cover-up in political history, because you tell me that 12 agencies, they pulled 12 agencies, I've never heard of that before, to get these criminals and to put these
hang
charges...
on, alleged, people who have allegedly broken regulations and laws, perhaps.
Yes, okay then, but I've already put my complaint in and done it officially, have all the dates and the emails. So what I could say to you, that probably most of those 12 agencies are in the same bed with Tamaki and Jackson and Pāti Māori. So it's pretty much compromised. So don't hold your breath that you're going to get an unbiased, impartial investigation from the lot.
None of this would have, Brian, got you into Parliament. You know, the people who lost out, if there was skullduggery, were the Labour Party. Yeah. And it seems to me like Willie Jackson, who leads the Labour caucus, Maori caucus, is still staying by his mate JT.
Well, they've been rorting the system for decades. The Waipirita Trust has been receiving, you can say it's in the billions, a constant government flow of money, and that needs to be investigated. This is going right up to the top to politicians and all sorts of who's who on the list. They've had money flow there, which really intended for the Urban Māori Authority they set up with the Waipirita Trust and various other trusts that all need to be investigated. This is where we have the problem with these gatekeepers. Willie's one of them, with the Māori caucus, and then his mate JT. They've rorted the system, they've ripped off the taxpayer, but they've mostly ripped off Māori families and Māori that really desperately needed something to help them off the ground. This is what this money was given for, but it never got there, Sean. Mm. And the stats show it, how badly Māori are doing right now.
All right. John Tamahiri is welcoming this investigation, and he's asking journalists to front with evidence. Would you debate John Tamahiri? Would you call him out here and now and say you would go one-on-one with him on what he's done?
Well, I'm doing it now. I've put the evidence officially, and it's all in writing. It's here. You need to question the police. The police are really culpable in this. They never followed through on what I'm saying is damning evidence. And these 12 getting together, it's just like, let's collaborate our stories so we can get the right story to the police. Yeah. That's going to be the whole show of it.
Yeah.
So
you would debate John Tamahiri anytime, anywhere on this?
You know what? The evidence is here. Why don't the people who we're paying to actually do this, like the Serious Fraud Office, look at the evidence? I've done my own investigation, excuse me, and I've got all the evidence. I've done their job for them, you know.
Yeah. Well, some would say it was Andrea Vance who did this, Brian, that this has all been the wonderful media who've exposed all this.
No, the media are in bed with them too. They could have done their job properly when they covered for a chief commissioner who lied, and he was caught out in his lie, and he did a little private